President.
Damn, I can't see a thing. Go ahead and flip on the main power for me. Ah, there you are. Welcome aboard Sandman. I'm Smirk. You familiar with the Geneva Convention? Well, my suggestion is that you try to forget it. Makes it a little easier to sleep at night. The great thing about our job is we never get blood on our boots. Anyway, I know my cynicism isn't doing anything to soften your heart on for firing these guns, so we might as well get you familiar with the controls. By the way, if you forget what to do next because you weren't listening to me like an idiot, you can consult the clipboard in front of you. That's your mission information sheet. But you won't need that because you're going to be paying very close attention, right? Alright, go ahead and turn on both your multifunction displays. Power knob on the left. Now, it's up to you, but I like to pull up the tabs on my bottom display and the nav on my top one. You can also swap displays if you want. Okay, so you see your tabs there. That's your view out the port side of the aircraft. You can see we're already in position circling the AO. Now let's have a look around. Grab your left and right joysticks. You can pull your left trigger to cycle your zoom level. Good. Now pan and tilt the camera using the thumbstick in your right hand. Wow, what a natural. You play a lot of video games, don't you? Frickin' nerd. If you want to adjust the speed of the camera, use the knob in front of your right joystick. You might also notice at times that your camera seems to pull to one side when you're trying to aim. Well, that's because you're fighting the aircraft constantly yawing to port. You can compensate for this by adjusting your yaw trim. Notice that little upside down triangle near the bottom of the tabs right above the gimbal indicator box? That represents your yaw trim setting. Alright, now the fun part. Let's shoot some guns. Throw the master arm switch next to the main power. Okay, you gotta arm your weapons individually before you can fire them. Now keep it in your pants. Alright, now you're live and dangerous, so try to practice proper weapon safety and keep your finger off the trigger unless you're ready to kill something. Speaking of which, there's a whole bunch of dummies down there waiting for you to ruin their day. Let them have it.
Reloading weapon! 25, ready to fire!
Damn, boy, who hurt you? I don't think you'll have any trouble sleeping. Well, now that you've leveled every possible target, might as well move on. You psychopath.
25
In the meantime, push the thumb button on your right joystick that's further away. That cycles through your weapons. You can't fire them yet since you're not armed, but we'll get there, don't worry. You can also adjust the display settings of your tabs. Twist the contrast knob to adjust contrast and brightness, and try switching to black hot mode to see how you like it. These settings are purely personal preference. You'll also notice on your nav screen that you can cycle the mode between north-oriented and aircraft-oriented. Again, it's up to you. Alright, now we're ready to try out the 40. This bad boy is a good all-rounder. It'll take out several infantry in about a 10-meter radius, and disable light armor in a couple shots. Be careful though. It'll also level small structures, and you do not want to fire it anywhere near your friendlies. Got it? Alright, go ahead and arm it, and take out everything in sight.
Weapon out! Stand by! 40, ready to fire!
Looks like that felt a little too good for you. I'm glad I'm not the one on the ground with you in the gunner's seat. Do I dare go on with the bigger guns? Too late now, I guess. Alright, now sometimes you're gonna need something bigger. If you ever come across heavy armor, the 25 and the 40 ain't gonna make a scratch. Obviously we're safe up here from tank fire, but our boys on the ground, not so lucky. That means you gotta take out those threats fast. And you're gonna do that with the 105mm howitzer. This thing is one of the biggest projectile weapons in the sky, and you'll know that as soon as you pull the trigger. See those tanks down there? Make them disappear.
Reloading! 105, ready to fire. Loading weapon. 105 is ready. Weapon is dry.
Woo! You awake yet? Now, as big as this behemoth of a round is, you'll still need to score a direct hit on enemy armor to take it out in one shot. Keep that in mind, because it takes several seconds to reload each shell. And another thing, it goes without saying, but you do not want to shoot this thing anywhere near our guys. We may not be military, but that doesn't mean we can't be guilty of war crimes. Okay, we're moving on. Go ahead and practice with any of the weapons you've used so far until we get into position. Alright, final weapon. That's gonna be your AGM missile. This thing has the highest damage and splash radius of any of the other weapons, but you can only fire it once you've secured a lock on a target. And the only targets it'll lock onto are those with radar signatures, namely enemy vehicles and missile launcher sites. Now before we arm the AGM, go ahead and make it to the active weapon on your TADS. Now aim at the nearest trackable target. You'll see that the AGM automatically locks on. It'll stay locked on that target until you point your crosshair at another trackable target, and then it'll switch. If you want to break your lock, just cycle back to another weapon. Once you're locked, you can fire. And it is fire and forget. So after the missile's been fired, it finds its way to its target, even if you switch to another weapon. Another thing to remember is that you've got a limited supply of AGMs. You'll always have plenty of ammo for the other weapons, but be selective with your missiles. You got all that? Okay, arm the AGM, find yourself a target, and fire away.
Alright.
Man, that never gets old. Okay, so that's it for offense. I hope you didn't think with all that firepower that we're invincible. We may be a click away from the enemy, but that's still well within enemy missile range. And about the only thing we have to keep us from being shot out of the sky is a pretty fireworks show. Oh, you hear that? That's your RWR telling you that we've been picked up by enemy radar. Take a look at the display above your head. The green letters tell you what the threat is, and their position on the display indicates its general direction. Looks like a SAM launcher has picked up our scent. They haven't launched yet, but now would be the time you want to arm your flares. Press the button on the console in front of your left joystick. To fire them, grab your left joystick and hold the button that's further away. They'll shoot off rapid fire for as long as you're holding it, and you do have a limited supply, so don't waste them because we'll really be up a creek. Weapon out. Stand by. Weapon is dry. 25 is hot. 40 is loading.
Really?
105 is hot. We're loading weapons. 105, ready!
Oh, here comes the missile. Fire off a volley of flares when it gets close. Did you crap your pants? Don't worry, it was a dummy rocket. Don't warhead. But in a live fire situation, you've got to time your flares right. Start firing too soon and you'll blow through your whole supply. Fire too late and the missile could still impact the aircraft. We might be able to take a hit from one of those, but we're definitely toast if we're hit by two. Well, that about wraps up your weapons training. Perfect timing. It's time to meet our team on the ground. Phantoms, this is Sandman. We are in position. How copy?
Sandman, glad you could join us for the fun.
Spooky, good to hear from you. You boys ready for infill?
We'll move on your order.
Copy that. All Phantoms stand by for marker.
Altitude received.
Alright, now we may be the most powerful thing in the sky, but sometimes we need a scalpel, not a jackhammer. That's where Phantom Team comes in. We're their eyes in the sky, and that means they rely on us for where to move. They move on our order, but they can also take care of themselves in combat. Just be aware that they will move when you tell them to, even if they're in a firefight. So make sure you clear out any threats in their path before putting them in harm's way. Alright, to tell them to move, aim your TADs at any location and press the button on the right joystick that's nearest you. If your chosen location is outside, near any structures, Phantom Team will find nearby cover. But if there's no cover around, just know they'll be out in the open. If you place a waypoint on top of a building, they'll move inside and clear out the interior, as long as it's accessible. Why don't you tell them to go into that big building right there?
Roger that.
Good. Now move them near a group of enemies. They'll engage when they're in range.
Moving into position.
Perfect. With us in the sky and the Phantoms on the ground, the enemy won't know what hit them.
Engaging!
Okay, one more thing before I set you loose and let you live out your power fantasy, and that's changing altitude. If you look above your weapon arm switches, you'll see a number display, a red button, and a knob. This system allows you to request a specific altitude from the pilot. The numbers represent your desired altitude, not necessarily our current altitude. Right now it's at about 7,000 feet, which is the top of our operational range. Grab the knob and twist it to the left to a lower altitude you want to move to. You can go as low as 3,500 feet. Once you're
Altitude
happy,
acknowledged.
press the red
Starting
button.
our descent.
Alright, now you'll notice we're descending gradually. Once the light turns green and you hear the beeps, we've reached our desired altitude. You can still fire your weapons while ascending and descending, but once you set a new altitude for the pilot, you won't be able to change it again until we reach that altitude. Got it? Now, there are a couple of reasons you'd want to change your altitude. One of them is stealth. A lower altitude will sometimes make us harder to track by radar, but it also makes us easier to hit with anti-aircraft fire. And the reverse is true for a higher altitude. The other reason is just a matter of perspective. Being lower to the ground gives you a better idea of distance and depth, while being higher gives you a more top-down view of the AO. It's up to you what you like better. Alright, now the moment you've been waiting for. I'll get out of your hair and let you do your thing. Destroy all the targets you want. You're free to use any and all weapons. And whenever you're sick of blowing stuff up, pull up the menu on one of your MFDs and press RTB.
Reloading! 105 is ready! Weapon is dry. 105 is hot!
Moving out.
stupid son of a bitch! You just killed one of our guys! You're done! We're headed back to base!
105,
Oh.
ready to fire.
Oh no!
Ceasefire! Ceasefire!
PTSD simulator.
You copy! Down those sons of bitches!
No! Calm down. Sick. Bit late, mind.